Shields up, Ironbreakers. Rurikhan here, coming at you with another video, and today's video is going to be a little different than what you've come to expect from me. For starters, it's a scripted video, and I don't tend to do a lot of those, but it is imperative that this message is conveyed as clearly as possible to make YouTube viewers aware of what is happening to the platform right now. I guess I should also point out that this video will be getting demonetized because I will use some words that might hurt some feelings, and I may even end up in the crosshairs of some of these massive corporations. But if that is the case, like I've always said, it is better to burn out than to fade away. So come at me, you disgusting cowards, because I'm ready to get down in the mud and go out swinging. Now, due to how the YouTube algorithm works, this video will quickly be silenced unless you support it by liking and sharing with your friends. So if you agree with the message I'm about to deliver, please consider supporting it. I don't want your money, just spread the message. Over the last week, I've been following a situation on Twitter where a supposed journalist has been calling for the deplatforming of a prominent YouTuber, Steven Crowder. Now, Crowder does political commentary, so I can imagine a lot of you might not be even aware who he is, or might just hate his guts because of his political views. This journalist, Carlos Maza, is playing the victim card. He claims he is being harassed for his sexuality and ethnicity. However, I can assure you this is nothing more than a manipulation tactic designed to take advantage of Pride Month and rally the full weight of the LGBT community against YouTube in order to force them to comply. That is, unless you believe it's a coincidence that Mr. Maza has been allegedly getting harassed for years and conveniently chose Pride Month to fight back against his supposed harasser. Also, anyone who believes that this is a simple case of an individual fighting back against a bully, think again. This whole thing has simply been the first step in a coordinated effort to take out as many independent content creators as possible. Because you see, independent content creators have proven themselves to be too resourceful, to the point where traditional media websites have largely become obsolete due to the fact that most of you prefer to consume online content from us, the independent creators, because most of us aren't influenced by our corporate overlords. But in its death throes, traditional media is desperately trying to maintain its relevance. Instead of adapting to the ever-changing landscape of internet content creation, they would rather take out their competition in order to force you back to their websites where they can continue to shove their political views and ideologies in your face, so their message is the only message available. No alternatives, no choice. Now, you may not like Crowder, you might fundamentally disagree with his message and his method, but whereas Crowder does inappropriate jokes, at least he does not incite violence. Maza, on the other hand, has not only done calls to action, actively asking the LGBT community to commit battery and or assault and promote fear. But then again, Maza is simply a pawn in all of this. You see, Vox needed someone to lead the charge against independent creators, and who better than a Latino homosexual during Pride Month? Make no mistake, this was engineered by Vox, which is why now posting an open letter to YouTube calling for additional censorship. This multi-million-dollar corporation is demanding YouTube to shut down independent content creators under the guise of Mr. Maza's fake victim card, all the while utilizing the full power of the LGBT community to enforce their particular form of censorship. It is nefarious, disrespectful, abusive, and manipulative. Now, whether you like Crowder or not shouldn't even be an issue in this matter, because despite their framing on this whole situation, this is about traditional media against independent content creators. And they are winning, because as always, YouTube will never stand behind its own creators. The people that have not only built this website from the ground up, but also the people that have been making the money hand over fist, only to get repeatedly screwed over in favor of mainstream media. Who do you see in your recommended feed? The creators you care about and subscribe to? Or Jimmy Kimmel, Jimmy Fallon, Stephen Colbert, The Rock, Will Smith, etc., etc. YouTube, as always, is willing to once again burn the people that pour their hearts and souls into creating content for this website, and it's beyond disrespectful. In their initial response, YouTube stated that Crowder hadn't violated any of its community guidelines. Following that statement, they then said they would be demonetizing his channel despite him not having broken any rules. They then said that this whole thing was about a t-shirt he was selling, except a couple of minutes later it actually wasn't, and it was about his channel performing, and I quote, continued egregious actions that have harmed the broader community. End quote. What the hell does that even mean? Not a single example of these egregious actions has been provided to the community. And I believe as of the recording of this video, they still haven't provided Crowder's staff with the links to the videos that supposedly perpetuate these egregious actions that harm the broader community. You see, this isn't about Crowder. This is about the fact that something like this can happen to literally any creator in this platform that traditional media decides to attack. It's happened in the past where the simple mention of Chirac Marco's channel in a random website caused it to be instantly annihilated. It was later restored, but the principle of YouTube simply obliterating a channel without even contacting its creator or doing any due diligence of any kind is beyond ridiculous. Now, I'm not a political channel, which is why I wasn't even going to do a video on this nonsense. However, after following up on this Vox Media garbage fest, CNET, no doubt smelling the blood in the waters, decided to launch their own smear campaign against independent creators. And this time around, it was an attack on the gaming community. Now, I don't know if this was a coordinated attack because ultimately both websites stand to gain viewership if YouTube takes further actions against its own community, or if they are just opportunistic little bottom feeders. But either way, this is when I realized that remaining silence was nothing short of passive acceptance, and I refuse to take this crap, and if it costs me my channel, then at least it hasn't cost me my spine. Some of you might even make the question, who the hell is CNET? Isn't that the website where I used to download shareware back in the day? Yeah, that's them, except now they also create content, and very much like Vox Media, their content is garbage, and as such, the only way to get you to watch their content is to remove independent creators from YouTube. Now, this dumpster of a website decided to look at whatever was the most popular gaming content on YouTube and criticize that. Here's the basis for this little brainlet's whole article, and I quote, "How to make a successful video on one of the internet's most popular sites. Step 1, find something to be angry about. Go to online forums, track what's hot on Twitter, and figure out the outrage of the day. Step 2, rant into a camera for 10 minutes. Step 3, profit." End quote. Well, alright then. If it's that easy, why the hell are you writing garbage tier articles on a garbage tier website? You just wrote the formula. Go on, start a YouTube channel, follow your own instructions and see the results. Except you can't do it, can you? Because you lack a key ingredient. And I'm not talking about integrity because it's pretty clear you don't have any of that on account of the fact you were deceitful towards the people you were interviewing for your little hit piece. But I guess ethics aren't required for journalism when your website is dying. Everything goes. The key ingredient you lack is charisma. When you're on screen, you're about as impactful as a wet paper towel, and that's why you can't follow your own formula to success. Now, you might notice I'm a little aggressive towards this piece of human filth. That is because this gentleman chose to go out of his way to contact advertisers and get them to pull ads from other content creators. And look, I don't care about how you feel about the content creators affected by this garbage tier hit piece. Anyone actively seeking to do harm to someone else's livelihood is a low-life piece of crap. I don't always agree with a lot of the negative content that's all over the platform because we are constantly perpetuating the cycle of there's no news like bad news. But at the same time, I would never run around trying to deplatform or demonetize my peers or anyone else for that matter. It's a disgusting practice made by those who can't argue their points, so instead they just try to silence everyone else to prevent people from even considering a different point of view. Vox, CNET, make no mistake. You come for one of us, you come for all of us. And I'm ready to fight your little attack to the bitter end with every avenue at my disposal. We already know YouTube doesn't have our back, so the only thing we can do is stand together. And now it's time for you to decide, do you stand with independent content creators or against them? Because there is no middle ground anymore. And we weren't the ones who drew the lines in the sand, but you can bet your ass we'll defend it to the bitter end. If you consume content from Vox Media or CNET, I just want you to be aware that you are actively supporting corporate censorship from companies who have a vested interest in you buying products from their ad placements, and they will manipulate you in any way possible to please their corporate masters. Carlos Maza and Ian Scher have effectively started Adpocalypse 3.0 in an effort to silence independent content creators. How effective they are will now be determined by the YouTube audience at large. Will you allow them to destroy the creators in this platform, or will you spread awareness? Will you use whatever influence you might have to help us fight this multi-million-dollar corporation, or stand idly by the sidelines as they spin their fake narratives to destroy everything we've worked so hard to build? The outcome of this war is decided by you, the audience. Don't believe anything I've said here. Do your own research and come to your own conclusions. Only then will you be able to form your own opinion free from the bias of either side. This is exactly what Vox and CNET don't want you to do. They are appealing to your emotional side in the most hypocritical way imaginable, in an effort to trigger a primal response from your brain. All I ask is that you look into this for yourself and then decide who is in the wrong. Thank you very much for watching. If you agree with what was said in this video, it now falls to you to spread awareness. We don't have millions of dollars to promote this message across social media, but should you choose to stand with us, we'll have something much, much better. Stay strong and may your shields never break.